So I'm going to be talking about the sinking of the Lusitania and what happened that day. So the sinking of the Lusitania was an important event in World War I, and so many innocent people died because of the Germans' attack on the ship. America had actually stayed out of the war for just about the first 3 years. President Woodrow Wilson really felt no need for America to battle in the war up until Germany attacked a ship with over 100 Americans on it. And not only did this change the mind of President Wilson about America entering the war, but it also changed the minds of people's opinions about Germany and how they saw Germany. The Lusitania was a British luxury cruise ship, and at one point in 1907, it actually held the title as the largest ship in the world. It mostly traveled across the Atlantic Ocean between Britain and the United States, and it carried passengers and cargo. It was a passenger ship that was secretly modified for war, and the ship was 787 feet long and could carry up to 3,048 passengers and crew members and just people in general. World War I had begun in 1914, and the British and French were fighting against the Germans. New supplies for the war effort were being transported using shipping lanes around Britain and using the Lusitania. So at first, the Germans tried to take control of the shipping lanes using their navy, but luckily the British managed to stop the German navy. The problem with the waters around Britain changed as the Germans began to use submarines to attack ships. And they did this they used the submarines because the ships that they were attacking, they couldn't see the submarines, so they really had no way of knowing that the attack was coming or preparing, looking out for it, or anything like that. So on February 4th, 1915, the Germans actually declared the seas that were around Britain a war zone and said that they would attack any Allied ships that entered the region. So this kind of came off as a warning for everyone else that if they did enter those waters, that there was a good chance that Germany would attack the ships using their submarines. But even though that was a warning and Germany warned everyone, the Lusitania departed from New York on May 1st, 1915, and started heading towards Liverpool, England. The German embassy actually made an advertisement warning people that the ship may be attacked when it entered British waters, but the advertisement didn't go out till that day. But that was still a warning that the ship had a very good chance of being attacked, and originally everyone was warned that they could be attacked if they entered the waters when Germany first said that that area was a war zone. So even though there were multiple warnings, it seemed that many people didn't really believe that the Germans would attack a luxury cruise ship because 1,959 people boarded the ship, and that included near 200 Americans. On May 7th, 1915, the Lusitania was approaching the coast of Ireland, and it was soon spotted by the Germans' U-boat, which was the submarines. They just called it a U-boat for like an underwater boat or undersea boat. But the boat had an underwater camera that spotted something that seemed to be a gun. So because of this, the U-boat moved into attack and fired a torpedo at the ship. A lookout on the Lusitania spotted the wake of the torpedo, but it was too late, and the torpedo made a direct hit on the side of the ship and caused a huge explosion. Afterwards, more torpedoes were shot at the ship, adding up to a total of 7. The Lusitania immediately began to sink. The captain of the Lusitania, Captain Wilman Turner, ordered that the ship head for the Irish coast, but it was too late. Within a few minutes, the captain gave the order to abandon the ship. However, many people had difficulty in getting off the ship because it had already been tilted so far to the side and was sinking very quickly. Within 20 minutes of being struck, the Lusitania had sunk, and out of the 1,959 people on board, only 761 actually survived, which left 1,198 being killed. Since the ship was so big and there were so many people spread out throughout the ship, there are actually multiple different stories about where the ship was first hit, how many torpedoes were shot at the ship, and other experiences or events throughout the attacking of the ship. Some may actually agree that this wasn't completely Germany's fault. Since they declared war on the British waters and that was a war zone, that gave a warning itself, and they even sent warnings the day the ship set sail. Because of this, the captain of the ship could be partly blamed for not making the dangers of boarding the ship more clear, and the people that boarded the ship could kind of play part into blame because they knew the dangers of entering the ship, but they did it anyway. However, since the warning was sent out the same day that the ship was setting sail, many people may have just missed the advertisement of the warning and just didn't know, but many people who actually did see the warning were even reassured by others that they actually had nothing to worry about. So that is the basic story of the sinking of the Lusitania.